Welcome to Shadow Keepers, where the line between the living and the paranormal blurs. I'm Lee.
And I'm B. Tonight we're diving into two chilling tales and unraveling the unsettling stories of Arne Johnson and Michael Taylor.
A world of alleged demonic possession and its harrowing consequences.
So dim the lights and join us as we unravel the shadows behind these haunting mysteries. And stick around because at the end, we're going to pull a tarot card together. Let's explore a bit of magic and insight. So make sure to hang tight until the end to see what the cards have in store for us today. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. All right, let's dive in.
So I'm doing the Arne Johnson case. It's February 16th, 1981, in a small town of Brookfield, Connecticut. A day like any other except for one shocking event that would forever change the lives of those involved. It was on this day that Arne Johnson would commit a crime that would send shockwaves through the community and eventually the entire nation. But before we get into the fateful day, we need to understand the events leading up to it. Events that began months earlier with a 12-year-old boy named David Glatzel. So David was an ordinary kid until one day he wasn't. In the summer of 1980, David began experiencing terrifying visions. Dark figures, sinister voices, and an overwhelming sense of dread haunted him day and night. His family, desperate to help him, turned to the church. They believed David was possessed by a demon. Enter Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famous paranormal investigators. They were called in to help with David's exorcism, a process that, according to the Warrens, involved multiple demons battling for control over the young boy. During one of these exorcisms, Arne Johnson, the boyfriend of David's sister Debbie, did something that would seal his fate. In a moment of desperation, he challenged the demons. He taunted them, demanding they leave David alone and possess him instead. Little did Arne know that this act of bravado would lead him down a dark path, one that would end in bloodshed. On that cold February day, Arne Johnson was with his landlord, Alan Bono. What started as a typical afternoon quickly turned into a nightmare. Bono, the couple's landlord and Debbie's employer at the kennel, bought the group lunch at a local bar and proceeded to drink heavily. After lunch, the group returned to the kennel. Bono, intoxicated at this point, became agitated. Arne and Bono were getting into it as Debbie attempted to alleviate the situation by standing between the two men. Johnson, growling like an animal, then drew a 5-inch pocket knife and stabbed Bono repeatedly. Bono died several hours later, according to Johnson's lawyer. Bono had suffered 4 or 5 tremendous wounds. But this wasn't just another murder case. When Arne's trial began in October 1981, his defense team made an argument. They claimed that Arne was not in control of his actions because he was possessed by a demon. The devil made me do it defense was the first of its kind in American legal history. The defense argued that Arne had been under the influence of demonic force when he killed Alan Bono and therefore could not be held legally responsible. The courtroom was gripped by this sensational claim. The media descended on the small town and the trial became a national spectacle. The Warrens testified in Arne's defense, recounting the harrowing events of David's exorcism and Arne's fateful challenge to the demons. But the judge was not swayed. Judge Robert Callahan promptly rejected his defense. Callahan argued that no such defense could ever exist in a court of law due to lack of evidence and that it would be irrelative and unscientific to follow related testimony. The defense chose to imply that Johnson acted in self-defense. Because of this, the jury was not legally allowed to consider demonic possession as a viable explanation for the killing. The jury convicting Johnson on November 24th, 1981, of first-degree manslaughter. On December 18, 1981, he was sentenced to 10 to 20 years in prison, though he served only 5, or about 1 month short of 5 years. The Arne Johnson case leaves us with more questions than answers. Was Arne truly possessed, or was this simply a case of temporary insanity? Can the supernatural be used as a legal defense? And what does this case say about our understanding of good, evil, and accountability? Even today, over 4 decades later, the case continues to captivate and terrify those who hear it. It is a reminder that sometimes the most frightening things aren't the ones we can see, but the ones that lurk in the shadows just out of sight. So, in case you want to follow this more, there are things on TV that you can watch. So, a live action TV prequel titled Where Demons Dwell was released on August 31st, 2006. The story was later made into a film edition called The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, 2021, and was the subject of a documentary, The Devil on Trial, in 2023. These events were also documented in the book, The Devil in Connecticut by Gerald Brittle. Okay. So, was Arne truly possessed, or was this simply a case of temporary insanity? So, we can talk about that. Can the supernatural be used as a legal defense? What does this say about our understanding of good, evil, and accountability?
Well, you said that he wasn't possessed. It was debunked in the show.
It wasn't debunked. The oldest son did not
Well,
believe that David was possessed in the first place.
they gave plausible deniability on why other factors were in play, why he wouldn't have been possessed. Like there were other things going on to explain what happened, why he did what he did. Right?
I mean, Bono was drunk and he's getting agitated and, loud and stuff. And I believe that he grabbed Debbie's arm or something, which set Bono off. Then he started, confronting him. So they got into an argument. Debbie standing in the middle trying to break them up or whatever, but it just turned into Arnie stabbing Bono. So now, did he mean to do it? Or was he truly possessed, and that's when the demon decided to show himself and take that opportunity to commit a crime?
But he never showed signs of violence before that, right?
No, he did not. So before that, the only time he had encounter with a demon was when he went back to his rented property. There was a well, and apparently he saw the demons there at the well, and that was the only time he had encountered it while he was lucid. But otherwise, he didn't show any signs of violence. And then Debbie, I think, said that he was walking around talking to himself, growling and stuff like that, but he doesn't remember any of that stuff. He doesn't remember doing any of it. He also does not remember stabbing Bono, because when he was...
But wait, if she saw signs of that, why didn't she say something?
I have no clue. Maybe she didn't think it was going to end in somebody getting killed.
If my partner was talking to himself and growling at himself, we have to have a conversation.
Well, I guess Debbie went through it with her brother, and she
and he was possessed.
Yeah, I don't know
why would you then be like, oh, he's just in his feelings? Like, I don't understand that. Why would you not say something? See something, say something.
I don't know. And remember, this was in the 80s,
there's no excuse for that, because your brother went through it, and you said like he invited the entity inside himself to get it away from the brother. So therefore, there's a possibility that it could be in him. and it's showing itself in these private moments where he's talking to himself, growling,
Mhm.
and if you would've maybe said something to him or even to the people who helped her brother saying, "Hey, I think it's showing itself again," it could have been something that could have been prevented, but you let it go. I could see if she didn't recognize the signs, but you recognize the signs and you let it go. That doesn't make any sense to me.
My thing is when David was being exorcised and they did a lesser exorcism, which is just like people praying over him, and he invited that entity into himself to leave David alone. Why wasn't the lesser exorcism done to him
I don't know.
afterwards
I
or
don't
a
know
week
that either.
later?
I don't understand why not either, only because so from what I understand about possession is what possesses you, it weakens you over time, mentally, so that it can break you and take over.
Yeah.
And it's usually when it's almost gotten you fully that it starts to show itself because you're too weak to push it out,
Yeah,
push
fight
it
it off.
aside.
Yeah.
So if they would have done a lesser exorcism on him at that time where he was mentally strong, I could see where he would have been able to push it out.
Yeah.
Like if he actually exercised right away
Mhm.
because he's mentally strong, he knows it's there.
Okay.
Y'all waited for it to break him down and he killed someone.
I don't
Like
know.
I just don't understand.
Yeah. I think that since they already went through this, they should have seen the signs and tried to help him before, knowing they should have kept an eye on him because they were there. They knew what happened.
Yeah.
So the family should have kept an eye on him. Hey, if he starts acting weird,
But
let
that's
us
even
know.
so. Why would you not keep an eye? That makes that makes no sense. If you saw, because you even said, like, she saw the signs and she didn't do anything. That doesn't make sense to me. You're sitting there and you hear him going crazy and you're like, it's okay." Like, why would you even let it get that far? That doesn't make any sense to me.
And especially when he doesn't remember anything, that should be a
No.
big red flag. Like, okay,
You
if
gotta go
you
to
can't
church.
even remember doing that, there's a problem.
No, we have to go to church. You gotta get fully submerged in holy water,
Mhm.
fully blessed, do a whole prayer circle, which I honestly think, and I think I honestly think a lesser exorcism is stronger than a regular exorcism because the lesser exorcism has a bunch of people praying for you and the priest,
Yes.
where in the church.
Yeah, it was in the
I don't
church.
understand how that's a lesser exorcism. To me, what they perform or what they show on TV, that's a lesser exorcism. Him at home with a priest and an aide, usually a a lower priest, which would be a brother who hasn't fully taken his vows, or a nun, or a sister, and who is a nun that hasn't fully taken her vows, and they would aid the priest alone, just the two of them. I think that's a lesser exorcism because 'cause they're alone. The power of prayer is wild, and if you have a whole bunch of people praying on top of also having the priest there and whatever other clergy you'll have there helping, like, that's great, and you're also in church.
Mhm.
None of it makes sense to me. I just don't understand. All I'm saying is, if this was my partner or my child and I hear you growling, all right, everybody talks to themselves. I have full-on conversations. I hear my child have full-on conversations. I'm like, "Who are you talking to?" He'd be like, "Oh, nobody." I'm like,
At least he
"Okay."
knows he's not talking to nobody.
I'd be like, "Okay." When he starts growling at himself, we have to have a talk.
Yeah.
At that, yeah, he knows. It's not like he forgot or he doesn't look at me and be like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't say anything." Um, okay, we
Yeah.
gotta go to church.
And the reason he was convicted of first-degree manslaughter, because they said in a defense, when you try to kill somebody, I mean, defend yourself, you stab them one time, you don't stab them 4 or 5
Yeah,
times.
and I don't believe in that because I am but again, I am a woman. I am gonna stab you until you're down. If you are bigger than me, stronger than me, I'm not stabbing you once. I've seen the scary movies too many times. Even if you stab them till they're dead, they somehow come back to life and get you. I'm good. I'm stabbing till you're dead. Unless you literally run away from me, I'm not stopping.
Yeah.
I do think that's different. If they ran away from him and he stabbed them in the back, I do know that once, like if like someone breaks in and they run, you can't stab or shoot them in their back because there's no way for them to defend themselves that way, and the threat is leaving. But if they're still there and I feel threatened, I'm stabbing you till you're not a threat.
Yeah.
And one stab is not enough.
I believe that, I
One
believe
stab, one stab is just gonna make you angry.
yeah, because I'm a small woman, I think I would have to stab a few times to make sure that person cannot get to me.
At that, how do I know you felt the first stab? Might take a
Exactly.
minute.
Especially a 5-inch knife, that's like what, a steak knife? It's only 5
Is that
inch.
like as long as my hand?
I don't know. But that's a pretty if it's as big as your hand, that's a long knife.
No, that's like I think that's like as big as your hand.
A steak knife? It has
Wait,
to be because they were
you
finished
said
eating
you said
lunch.
5 inches?
5
Hold
inches,
on.
yeah.
The baby
A
just got
5-inch a 5-inch pocket knife.
the baby just got food supplies, and with the food supplies, it came with a ruler. 5 inches.
5-inch pocket knife, yeah.
It's a little less than my hand.
Yeah, I see.
It's that much. That's still big.
Yeah, that is. Th
It, I can feel
that's
like
long enough to go deep into you.
yes, yes,
It's not a flesh wound.
yeah. Like that's this whole thing is 5 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel that.
Yes.
I mean, if you have adrenaline though, you might not. And that's what I'm saying. That first stab is just gonna anger you. I need to stab you at
Especially being drunk, like, are you gonna be numb to the first the first
that's what I'm
stab?
saying. I gotta stab you at least 3 times. That's my number.
I don't know, 2 sounds sufficient.
I don't know.
2 sounds sufficient.
You might not feel the first one. The second one might make you angry and try to attack me. So therefore I need to do it a third time. I have it thought out. Also, I'm not a but that's a man on man. I am a
Mhm.
female. So for me, because I feel like a man be like, "No, this chick did not just stab me," and he probably thinks one good hit might get me,
Mhm.
but then if I let you knock me out, I don't know what else you'll do to me. So I'm gonna have to keep
Yeah.
going. Where if if a man stabbed another man, I think he might just turn and try to get away.
I think because he wasn't drunk, he could have stabbed him one time and left. I don't think Bono would have died, and
Or maybe even be like,
if he did
"Listen,
die
I got a knife. I need you to calm down."
but yeah, but if he did die, he might have been able to win his case for defense. But because he stabbed him 4 or 5 times,
Yeah, 4 or 5 might be too much.
that's what I'm saying, that's a lot. That is intent to kill.
Yeah.
Especially
But
if it was in his stomach or
but I
chest area.
just but I also don't understand you yourself when you feel like you're in danger and your adrenaline is running, would you be able to understand that the threat is gone in the midst of
No,
being
I don't
attacked?
think I don't think I would understand fully that, "Okay, he's not gonna attack me again."
Like, I'm wondering if you even have full consciousness of your actions. Like, you're in fight or flight and someone is attacking you. My thing is, though, this guy attacked him physically with hands. He didn't have a knife or a
He
gun.
didn't have no, he did not have
So
a
then for
weapon.
you to pull out a knife, I think is
A
that might
pocket
be a
knife.
step too.
It wasn't even like a knife that was on the table or something. It was literally was in his pocket. He pulled it out. He would have
Yeah.
to have opened it because
Like,
it's a
could you
pocket
have
knife.
punched him in the face and probably knocked him out, and that
Probably
would have
he
been
was
the end of
drunk.
it? That's what I'm saying, though, but for you to then whip out a knife, I feel like that him whipping out a knife might have been just too far in
Yeah,
general.
that's why he got convicted of manslaughter because
Yeah,
I'm sure the jury was the same thing, like, you could have punched him, you could have pushed him over and left the premises, yet
yeah,
you stabbed him 4 or 5 times,
yeah, yeah. Thinking
and
about
then
it
he died.
yeah, thinking about it now in that aspect, like, he was drunk and, yeah, he attacked you, whatever he did. You didn't have to pull your knife out. That was overkill. Like,
Yeah.
you could have probably hit him, you could have probably outran him. Like,
Mhm.
there's things you got heated and yeah, yeah, yeah. That wasn't
I think
yeah,
it was
I
the
can see
heat of
that.
the moment. Really, I believe it was heat of the moment.
Crime of passion.
Yeah, because that was his girl. That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
his
yeah.
I believe it was his
If the guy
fiancé.
if the other guy had a weapon too, then yeah, I could be like, "No, they both had weapons and he had to do what he had to do," but
Yeah, because although it says here the boyfriend of David's sister Debbie, I think they were fiancés. I think their
they were
relationship
engaged.
was yeah, I think their relationship was, more than that. Because different, places say different things when you go to look up this story, but I believe they were fiancé.
And I don't think he would have ever been convicted, like I don't think he could have ever pled insanity because it's kinda hard when you don't like, there's no history.
Mhm,
And even what he did, it wasn't crazy. And her saying, "Oh, he was hearing voices and growling at himself or whatever." Like, you never said anything,
mhm.
and you never took him to get help. So it's just your word against
Yeah.
the court. And
So the Warrens did the Warrens did, like, stand up for him in the court and say, "This is what happened."
but that technically didn't happen to him. They ha that happened to her brother.
Yeah, but he was there when he said that,
Yeah,
"Possess me instead."
and I understand that, and he did invited this entity inside of him, and they're like, "Well, he didn't," but it doesn't matter because he did all that, but there's no lead up. This just it happened. There was like, "Oh, he did this, and then he did
Yeah,
this,"
yeah, yeah.
and
It's not
there's
like small things led up to the big
yeah,
thing. Yes.
and there's, like, records of him doing this and a record of him doing this or or whatever. He went from 0 to 60 really
Mhm,
fast.
mhm. He did.
So, I can
But
see them not
he's out and free, so he
wait,
did his time.
how long did he get?
A month shy of 5 years. That's all he did. It was supposed to be 10 to 20.
I don't understand.
And it says here that he was 19 years old when it happened.
That too, his frontal lobe isn't even developed yet, and I do think they say in men it takes longer.
Yeah, around like 26, 28.
Yeah, I think for women it's 24, and for men it's 26.
Mhm.
Not a scientist, not a doctor.
Yeah.
Don't take my word.
We just
Um,
got kids.
but I, because I was about to say, I don't get how you could kill someone and not serve real time. I kind of think you should serve as many years as how old the person was that you killed.
Yeah, but that could backfire.
Yeah, because if it's a child, but no,
No,
like
no, I'm saying like, what if it's somebody old and like they were attacking you or something and now they're dead and now you're serving 90,
that's, but that's
80
different.
years?
That's self-defense. That's self-defense. This he didn't have to take it that far. Thing is, too, with him being so young, I feel like he also didn't know any better. But you you took a life and you did 5 years. I don't know how did you learn from that by only doing only doing 5 years? Like what? He's 25. He's 25 when he got let out.
24, 25, yeah.
He's still so young. That's like getting out of college. He's done college now.
Yeah, basically.
Like I can't. I don't understand that. There's lesser crimes that you can do and you get more time.
Hmm. But that's what manslaughter is, though. He
Because
he
it
got 10
wasn't.
to 20. He got 10 to 20,
I
but
mean, I guess so. Because
I'm sure good
it wasn't
behavior got him
premeditated.
out.
It's not like he went out looking to kill this guy.
Yeah, he didn't like follow him. He didn't,
Yeah,
plan it out. He
it
didn't do
was.
any of that
It,
stuff. It
lit-
was
it,
just heat of the moment.
it truly, yeah, happened right in the moment.
Yeah.
I do get it. It just seems so sad to like you took a life, whether it was unintentional, but you took a life and you only served 5 years. I think if I was that man's family, I'd be like, that's not enough.
Mhm.
Whether you intended to do it or not, you still took a life, and I feel like that should have more weight on the person who took that life.
Yeah.
I mean, which it does. People don't realize having a record, you can't get a lot of jobs won't hire you.
I'm
And
sure he had a hard time after he came out. Like, I'm
like
sure it wasn't.
how many things do you fill out and they're like, no, you can't. You c-
Mhm.
you can't get an apartment with a record, or sometimes you can't buy a house with a record. Um, it's a lot. It's hard.
I'm sure, like, when they see manslaughter, it scares people, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's why they don't hire you or you can't get anything.
that's wild. But yeah. I don't think he would have gotten away with it with insanity because a lot of people don't even believe in possession anyway. But alrighty. Our next case involves Michael Taylor and Christine Taylor and is indeed a tragic and complex story that has been the subject of considerable interest in analysis. Michael Taylor was 31, living in Ossett, West Yorkshire, England in 1974. He was married to Christine. The Taylors became members of a Christian fellowship group, even though they were not religious in any way. Michael became obsessed with the lay leader or preacher of the fellowship group, who was Marie Robinson, who was 21 years old. It was said that Michael was highly attracted to Marie and felt real peace in her presence. Michael let Marie know he was attracted to her, and she rejected him. After being rejected, some say he became different. His behavior became more erratic, and he would scream at Marie, and he once struck her. After confronting Marie, Michael had been experiencing severe emotional and psychological distress, which he and his church associated believed was due to demonic possession, and thought he needed to atone for his behavior. The atonement didn't work. Because of his aggressive behavior towards Marie, and the church thought Michael needed absolution, but his erratic behavior continued. Since his behavior persisted, the fellowship group called into the local Catholic church, which is St. Thomas. Father Peter Vincent, a priest, performed the exorcism with the aid of a Methodist clergy, Reverend Raymond Smith. Michael allegedly had 43 demons in his body. Father Peter Vincent and Reverend Raymond Smith were able to exorcise 40 demons from him on October 5th and 6th. On October 6th, that evening, they allowed Michael to go home with his wife, knowing that he still had 3 demons remaining, but thought he would be safe. And they would continue exorcising him the next day. They believed the 3 demons remaining were the demons associated with murder, violence, and insanity. That night, Michael attacked and killed his wife. He allegedly tore his wife's eyes out, ripped her tongue out with his bare hands, and tried to rip her face off. When done, he killed and dismembered their dog. When arrested, Michael told police that the exorcism failed and they were too late, and claimed he was compelled by forces to destroy everything living within the house. Taylor went to trial, but was acquitted on grounds of insanity. He spent 2 years in Broadmoor Hospital and another 2 years in a secure ward in Bradford. And then he was released to live out his life. It was said Michael Taylor moved back to Ossett, West Yorkshire. All the articles and references to the story and other theories will be in the show notes, and I will link all the other articles if you wanted to read more about it. There are other theories saying that Michael and Marie really did have an affair, and it was his wife confronting him about it that made him snap. He felt like Marie was his light, but also the cause of his darkness. But that was it. He got 4 years
Wow.
in an
Yeah.
insane asylum.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't even go to prison.
But see, that's different. Because he didn't just kill her.
He mutilated her. Take that shit out.
He did it.
He mutilated. I can't say it.
He mutilated.
Mutilated.
He did. He did. He did. Um, he did. Um, yeah, he mutilated her. It's like, I kind of feel like thinking about it, I'm wondering, like, because apparently, like, the priest and the reverend knew that they didn't get all the demons that he had out and that they were going to continue an exorcism. Did he use that as an excuse to kill his wife and get away with it? Because obviously he didn't want to be with her anymore. He was already looking at somebody else. Whether they truly had an affair or it was in his mind, like, one-sided, and Marie wasn't interested. Again, Marie was 21. He is 30, 31. She probably truly wasn't interested in him. They also had 5 children together. She's probably like, I don't want, as a preacher, she's like, I don't want to be with a married man who has 5 children.
Exactly.
Did he use this as an excuse to get his wife out the way?
I
Because he
mean, that
only served 4 years.
yeah.
And
He got rejected and he lost his mind.
he only served 4 years because he was truly found insane by the court. But you also have 3 different religious churches backing you on, like, you truly being insane. Like, yeah, in your case, they had the Warrens, but the Warrens they don't have as much backing or credit as a church does. And you have 3 churches. You had his Christian church, you had the Catholic church, and you had a Methodist church. 3 churches that I've never even heard of working together in any type of exorcism before. coming together and speaking on his behalf, saying like he wasn't in his right mind.
Yeah, there's a record of him, where Arnie, there was no record.
Yes, like this is behavior that I th which actually there's a record, but they were members at this church for less than a month. So, though there is a record, it escalated very quickly. They had only joined the church in September,
Mhm.
and the exorcism took place October 5th and 6th. So, an exorcism was held over a few days. My thing is, you already started the exorcism and you were in it for 2 days. I still don't get why you let him go home. I still don't know why you let him go home with his wife. If you wanted to let him go home, fine, then she should have been sent with family or friends.
Yeah, she shoulda left the house. If anything, he
I
shouldn't have
say
even
that
been let out.
I say that, but I don't know if I would have let my partner be like, be all by himself in this moment.
He should've stayed where they were exercising him.
I
If
think
if
that would have been the better scenario where he was like, because I can't say, "Okay, you're gonna send my partner home and I'm not gonna go with them." Like, during this time, he probably needs me, and I don't want him to feel abandoned. Um,
Yeah, but the church knew the demons that still resided in him, and that's
yes.
murder, violence, whatnot. They were supposed to chain him to a bed.
Insanity, which is funny because he pled insanity, he had a way with insanity, and that's the demon that was inside him was insanity, so but I still don't
I think the death could have been prevented if they did not allow him to go home.
yeah, it was an oversight by the church
Yeah.
because, again, all churches, at least all Catholic churches, they do have housing in them.
Mhm.
Um, there's usually a room in the actual church, and then each church Catholic church have 2 apartment buildings.
Mhm.
One is for the priests and the others are for the nuns because they don't reside in the same residence, and they coulda kept him, if not in a room in the church, they coulda kept him in the room in the, um, where the priests live. I forget what it's called. I know for nuns, it's called a convent, but
Mhm.
it's not called that for priests. But even so, it's a blessed building that's also on the same grounds as the church,
Yeah.
surrounded by crosses and holy water and incense.
Yeah.
I with it incense and incest.
Don't mix those 2 up.
I swear it's just a one letter difference, but I want to say the one and not the other. I'm
Like,
keeping
"Excuse
that
me,
in.
do you have any incest I mean, incense?" Don't mix them up.
Yeah, so I'm like, that was a an oversight. The rectory. Priests priests live in a rectory. Yeah, they he coulda stayed there. My thing is, where was he for the 2 days? Where was he for the 2 days? Because obviously he wasn't even at home.
Mhm.
So, I think they shoulda just left him where he was and continued the next day. I don't like, that still blows my I don't understand why he was sent home.
Yeah. That doesn't make sense at all.
He got 4 years. He was 31 when he was convicted, 35 when he got out. He already had 5 kids, he didn't need to have any more.
Yeah, lived a full life.
He did and didn't he did, run into some trouble throughout the years, nothing as horrific. I think he never could get his life back in order. He was still crazy, you know? He still had those demons. He was never fully exorcised.
And why didn't they finish exercising him when he got out?
I don't know, but then also
Why are they letting him roam free with
he
some demons inside him?
because only the church believes he has them.
That's what I'm talking about, the church. Like, why
But
didn't they finish this?
I don't know, but also, like, he hasn't killed anyone since. He hasn't killed anyone since. He only killed his wife in the most brutal way.
Mhm.
Like, if you don't kill me instantly.
Yeah,
I
don't
don't
do
wanna be
that to
tortured.
me. Let my family see me, like
Yeah. I don't know, they don't need to see me, but just don't send me out that way. I don't wanna be mutilated
yeah, that's just not right.
at that because he was a butcher. I just don't get everything he did. But to me, also, did he do all that to make him seem more insane? I can't kill her just regular, I gotta go all out, so I
That
truly look insane.
that does make sense.
Like,
I
if
mean,
I
nobody
just strangle her or if I just, like, stab her, like, that's not gonna look insane. I gotta do it all.
yeah, the crazy part is nobody will ever know except for him, why he did it, the way he did it. Like, he can say it was crazy, but deep down, he's the only person that knows
If
the
he was
truth.
truly insane
Yes.
and he was just following orders,
Or if
or if he did it because he truly didn't want anything else to do with her,
yeah,
and
and
he
he
knew
thought it
he
would
could
be
get away
easier
with it.
to just get rid of her and then, be with
I
whoever
never
he
understand that. I never understand that. Why do it? Because it's, like, such a common thing. Why do men feel like it's easier to murder their wives than divorce them? I do get it. Divorce has to be very hard. Never been through one. Don't know, uh, how hard it will be. I don't think wouldn't be easy. I just don't get the mindset of, "If I kill her, then I don't
sometimes
have."
it's the financial aspect of it, they're gonna lose a lot.
Sometimes I think, like, if I was married and I would go through divorce, I think I'd almost make it easier. Like, "Listen, just give me child support, and that's it." I don't wanna give nobody a reason to kill me. Like, people who fight, like, through a divorce. I don't understand it. Why are we fighting?
I was watching a show on Evil Lives Here, and then I think the one guy killed his whole family, his small children, and his wife because he did not wanna pay child support. Because he was out there running the streets with, other women and stuff, and he did not wanna pay child support, so he literally murdered his whole family just for that reason.
Well, that was, like, the guy who he I think he lost his job, and he realized he wouldn't have the money to support his family, and I think they only had 2 or 3 kids, and either his or her mother lived with them, and instead, he, like he killed the mom, hit, like, the mother-in-law who lived in the attic, then he killed his wife, then he picked up his kids, and he gave them, like, the best meal, and then he killed them, and then he called, like, them out of school for the next couple weeks, and then he left all the lights and then he left because he wouldn't be able to financially support them anymore. But then you didn't go kill yourself. No, you left and then go lived your life
Yeah.
for another, I think, 30 years, and that's because it was on America's Most Wanted, and they did, like, a mock-up of what he would look like, and they found him because of the mock-up,
Mhm.
and he looked exactly like the mold that they made.
Yeah.
And it's like, you didn't then go I don't understand. If you're so stressed and it's your issue, do you. Don't do everybody else.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I don't understand, like, "Oh, I don't have the money to support you, so you have to go." No, then you have to go. Or tell
Well
your wife, "Hey, babe, I'm sorry, we're broke now. We have to rein it in," or "I need you to get a job," something. Like, there's so many op and I kinda get it. I kinda get how you can get stuck, like, in the problem. I get how you can get stuck in the problem and you don't see your way out, but that's when you talk to someone and when you talk to other people because it's not their problem, they
Mhm.
can always think of such simple and easy solutions, and that is life. That is true life when you have the barest problem and it's like, oh my God, I don't know what I can do for this problem. And someone's like, oh, you just try doing this and this. And be like, I don't know why I couldn't think of that.
Mhm.
And you can always help other people with their problems. It's just you can't help yourself with yours. So I get that. But I'm like, if he would have spoke to his wife, she probably could have came up with a solution. Like, you know what, babe, it's good. I'll go get me a job until you get back on your feet. Maybe we could both continue working. Kids are in school. I don't need to be here all day anyway.
Yeah, but she may not have been that agreeable, like,
Well,
you don't know.
that's when you well then we gotta somebody gotta get murdered. I don't know.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, and then somebody gets murdered.
But it's after we've already like brainstormed and tried to like find solutions. Now, if you don't want to work with me, then you're an asshole and you weren't the right partner for me anyway. I honestly never I can't like I hate hard-headed partners. Like who don't want to try and help find a solution. Or there is an easy solution and they're like, "No, that's an easy solution, but I don't want to do that solution."
Yeah, because it involves work.
And I'm like, I don't understand. So instead of doing the easy solution, we're gonna make it 10 times harder and do the
Mhm.
hardest solution. Those types of people. Those types of people irk me.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, it's time for our special segment. As promised, we're going to pull a tarot card and see what wisdom it has for us. Each card can offer insight and reflection, and we're going to explore what it might mean for us today. Okay, I've already shuffled the deck. I'm putting my intentions in, and I'm pulling a card for insight for the following week. Okay, the card I pulled is a Page of Pentacles. Our keywords are manifestation, financial opportunity, skill development.
Ooh, it's a
The
good
Page of
card.
Pentacles, like the pages of all four tarot suits, brings a welcome message of new beginnings, inspiration, and the initial stages of a creative project
Look at this.
or venture.
That's
Since
literally what we're doing.
since Pentacles rule the material realm and correspond to the element to Earth, this page symbolizes a burgeoning awareness of the value of money, wealth, possessions, career, and physical health, and how to manifest more of these material blessings. You welcome new opportunities to your material life, a new job, a new business, or a financial windfall, and wish to discover how to turn your dreams into reality.
That's perfect.
It is. When the Page of Pentacles appears in a tarot reading, you are tapping into your ability to manifest a personal goal or dream and may be in the midst of a new project, such as a hobby, business venture, or the start of a new educational experience. You're excited about the possibilities and the potential of what you put your mind to, knowing you can create whatever you want with focus, intention, and action. Oh my God, that is like spot on. It's almost
Yes,
too
that is.
spot on,
Yeah, it is. It's, like, so spot on, it's scary.
especially since this is the first episode. That's the first card.
Yeah.
It's
So, whatever
weird.
doubts you had, whatever fears you had, just let them go,
I know
because
because I've
the
been
card
wanting to
is
do
literally
a
telling you.
podcast for years, and it wasn't until like I mentioned it to you, my bestie,
Yeah,
that you're like,
let's
all right,
do
let's
it.
do it. And I
What
was
are we
like,
waiting for?
all right. Honestly, yeah, because if it wasn't for you, I'd still be like, yeah, I want to do a podcast, but
"Listen, I
I
got
didn't want to do it
you.
alone.
What do you wanna do? Let's do it." Like
That's so funny. Oh my God, that's so great. I'm like smiling ear to ear.
That concludes our first deep dive into the dark and twisted world of Shadow Keepers. Tonight, we unravel the chilling tale of murder by possession, where the lines between the living and the damned blurred in the most terrifying way.
If this story sends shivers down your spine, make sure you subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your support fuels our journey into the shadows. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok for more haunting tales and updates on future episodes.
Remember, in the world of Shadow Keepers, nothing is ever as it seems. Until next time, stay vigilant, keep your light close, and beware of the shadows that follow. Bye!
Bye.